Welcome to Tom's Hit Parade. It is once again time for Backtracks, my monthly roundup of notable artist birthdays and album anniversaries, divisible by 5, occurring for the month of September 2018, as well as a spotlight of one notable album anniversary. So let's get right on into the birthdays. This month would mark the 365th birthday of the late, I would certainly hope so by now, German composer Johann Pachelbel, most famous for his Canon, which you can hear in the background right now. This month would have seen the 120th birthday of the late George Gershwin, an American composer, most notable for his score to the movie and musical West Side Story, as well as Rhapsody in Blue and many other compositions. This month would also see the 95th birthday of country legend Hank Williams. 90th birthday wishes would go out this month to the late jazz musician Cannonball Adderley, as well as blues singer Coco Taylor. 85th birthday wishes go out this month to the late country singer Conway Twitty. Happy 80th birthday month to legendary pop singer and member of the Drifters, Ben E. King, most famous of course for his song Stand By Me. 75 years ago this month saw the birth date of Pink Floyd member Roger Waters. 70 years ago this month, Australian pop singer Olivia Newton-John was born. Happy 65th birthday this month to jazz pianist Earl Klugh. 60th birthday wishes go out this month to rock musician Joan Jett. Happy 55th birthday wishes this month to country artist Mark Chesnutt. 50 years ago this month, Latin pop singer Mark Anthony was born. Happy 45th birthday this month to rap artist Nas. 4 decades ago saw the birth date of Australian pop artist Ben Lee. This month would be the 35th birth date of the late R&B jazz singer Amy Winehouse, as well as actor Donald Glover, also known as hip-hop artist Childish Gambino. Happy 30th birthday this month to singer, songwriter, and producer Teddy Geiger. And 25th birthday wishes go out this month to former One Direction member and solo artist Niall Horan. And now on with the album anniversaries. 55 years ago this month, Brenda Lee released her 9th album, Let Me Sing. It peaked at number 39 on the Billboard 200 charts. The first single, Break It To Me Gently, which was released a year and a half before the album came out, as well as the second single, Losing You, both reached the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 charts. The album also featured the singles Our Day Will Come, the Cole Porter classic Night and Day, and the song At Last, which of course was made famous by Etta James. Also released that month was Ella and Basie, a collaborative album between jazz singer Ella Fitzgerald and bandleader Count Basie. It was arranged by Quincy Jones, and except for 1 or 2 songs prior to this was the first time Ella and Count Basie recorded together. It featured the songs Honeysuckle Rose, Dream a Little Dream of Me, Ain't Misbehavin', and On the Sunny Side of the Street. Half a century ago, Crown of Creation, Jefferson Airplane's 4th album, was released. It was their last album to chart in the top 10 of the Billboard pop charts, peaking at number 6. It featured guest musicians David Crosby, as well as Tim Davis, co-founder of the Steve Miller Band. It featured the singles Greasy Heart and the title track. Also released in September of 1968 was Status Quo's debut album, Picturesque Matchstickable Messages from the Status Quo. It failed to chart, unfortunately, but Pictures of Matchstick Men reached number 7 on the UK charts and number 12 in the US, and the other single, Ice in the Sun, peaked at number 8 in the UK. Happy 45th anniversary to Ronnie Milsap's sophomore album, Where My Heart Is. It peaked at number 5 on the country charts. It was his first charting album. And it featured the singles I Hate You, All Together Now Let's Fall Apart. Country songs have the best titles, let's face it. And That Girl Who Waits on Tables, all of which went top 20 on the country charts. Also released in September of 1973 was Kool and the Gang's 4th album, Wild and Peaceful. It was their commercial breakthrough, reaching number 33 on the pop charts and number 6 on the R&B charts, and it also garnered them their first 3 top 10 singles, Funky Stuff, Hollywood Swinging, and of course, Jungle Boogie. 4 decades ago, Al Stewart's 8th album, Time Passages, was released. It was his 3rd album produced by Alan Parsons. It reached number 10 on the Billboard charts, and it featured the top 10 single, Time Passages, as well as the top 40 single, Song on the Radio. Also released that month were the solo albums by all 4 members of the rock band Kiss: Peter Criss, Ace Frehley, Gene Simmons, and Paul Stanley. It was the first time all current members of a rock band released solo albums on the same day. Ace Frehley's was the highest selling album, number 26 on the Billboard 200s, and featured the hit single New York Groove, which went top 40. Gene Simmons was the highest charting at number 22, and featured collaborations including Bob Seger, Cher, Donna Summer, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, and Jeff Skunk Baxter of the Doobie Brothers. September of 1983 saw the release of Linda Ronstadt's 12th album, What's New? It was her first of 3 pop standards albums with bandleader arranger Nelson Riddle, and despite the odd material, it managed to peak at number 3 on the Billboard 200 for 5 weeks. It was held off only by Michael Jackson's Thriller and Lionel Richie's Can't Slow Down. It featured the Irving Berlin classic What'll I Do?, the Gershwin song Someone to Watch Over Me, and the singles I've Got a Crush on You and the title track, both of which reached the top 50 on the Billboard Hot 100. Also released 35 years ago this month was Motley Crue's sophomore album Shout at the Devil. It was their breakthrough, reaching number 17 on the Billboard 200. Rolling Stone ranked it number 44 on their 100 Greatest Metal Albums of All Time list, and featured 3 Hot 100 singles, including Looks That Kill, Too Young to Fall in Love, and the title track, which reached number 30. 3 decades ago, Hangin' Tough, the sophomore album by New Kids on the Block, was released. It spent 2 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200 charts. It reached number 2 in the UK and Canada, and went top 10 in 7 other countries. It eventually went 8 times platinum, and garnered the group 5 top 10 singles, including Please Don't Go Girl, You Got It the Right Stuff, as well as I'll Be Loving You Forever and the title track, both of which reached number 1. Also released in September of 1988 was Lincoln, the sophomore album by quirky pop group They Might Be Giants. It spent 19 weeks on the Billboard Top Pop Albums chart, peaking at number 89, and featured the singles Purple Toupee, They'll Need a Crane, and Aang, which reached number 11 on the Billboard Modern Rocks track chart. And as a trivia note, the album cover features portraits of the duo's grandparents, one of whom was a career Army officer who served in both World Wars and attained the rank of general. A quarter of a century ago, Nirvana released their 3rd and final album, In Utero. It was of course the follow-up to Nevermind. It was produced by Steve Albini, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 charts, and earned the group a Grammy nomination for Best Alternative Music Album. Singles included Heart-Shaped Box and All Apologies, both of which reached number 4 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart, as well as Pennyroyal Tea. The album climbed back to number 27 on the charts after the death of Kurt Cobain at age 27. Lots of 27s in there. Also released in September of 1993 was Meatloaf's 6th album, Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. It is of course the sequel to the original Bat Out of Hell album, released 16 years earlier, and it's the only album of his to be produced by his longtime songwriting partner Jim Steinman. It went number 1 in 9 countries, including 1 week at number 1 on the US charts, 11 non-consecutive weeks in the UK, and 4 weeks in Australia. It eventually sold 14 million copies, produced 3 Billboard Top 40 singles, including I'd Do Anything for Love, which reached number 1 in 28 countries by the way, as well as Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, which reached number 13, and Objects in the Rearview Mirror May Appear Closer Than They Are, which reached number 38. Happy 20th anniversary to PJ Harvey's 4th album, Is This Desire. It didn't sell as well as her previous album, but it did earn her 2 top 30 singles in the UK, including A Perfect Day Elise and The Wind, as well as a Grammy nomination here in the States for Best Alternative Music Performance. Also released in September of 1998 was the Goo Goo Dolls' 6th album, Dizzy Up the Girl. It was their most successful album, reaching 4 times platinum and number 15 on the Billboard 200 charts. It also reached number 4 on the Canadian charts, and featured the smash hit single Iris, as well as 3 other top 40 singles, including Slide, Broadway, and Black Balloon. Now, as far as September of 2003 is concerned, I had a few albums to choose from, as you can see here. I decided to go with these 2. Silence is Easy, the 2nd album by Star Sailor. It did not chart in the US, but it reached number 2 in the UK, and number 8 in Belgium. It featured the singles Born Again, 4 to the Floor, and the title track, which reached number 9 in the UK, and was one of Phil Spector's last productions before he went on trial for murder. It also, one of the other good songs I like on this album is called Music Was Saved. It's another great song. Yeah, try this album out if you haven't yet. It's a great album. Also, The Soul Sessions, the debut album by Joss Stone. It reached number 4 on the UK charts after 5 weeks, and in a year and a half it was certified 3 times platinum. It took its time in the US though. It debuted at number 199 on the Billboard 200 charts, and took 24 weeks to rise to the position of number 39. It reached the top 10 in 7 European countries and featured covers of soul hits mostly from the 60s and 70s, such as For the Love of You by the Isley Brothers, the Soul Brothers' Six, Some Kind of Wonderful, All the King's Horses, made famous by Aretha Franklin, but it also featured a more modern soul rock song, Fell in Love with a Boy by the White Stripes. 10 years ago, in September of 2008, Death Magnetic, the 9th album by metal group Metallica, was released. It was their first album produced by Rick Rubin, and the first in 20 years not to be produced by Bob Rock. It was also the first studio album to feature Roberto Agustín Miguel Santiago Samuel Pérez de la Santa Concepción Trujillo Veracruz Batista on bass. Yeah, that guy. It was also the album that made Metallica the first band to see 5 albums debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200, breaking a record previously held by U2, the Dave Matthews Band, and the Beatles. It went number 1 in 34 countries, spent 2 consecutive weeks at number 1 in the UK, 3 in the US, and 4 in Canada. And it featured the singles The Day That Never Comes, All Nightmare Long, and Broken, Beat, and Scarred. Also celebrating its 10th anniversary this month is James Morrison's sophomore album Songs for You, Truths for Me. It reached number 3 in the UK, number 2 in Ireland, and number 45 on the US Billboard 200. It reached top 20 in 5 other countries, and featured the top 10 singles Broken Strings featuring Nelly Furtado, You Make It Real, and the top 40 single Please Don't Stop the Rain. In September of 2013, pop group Haim released their debut album Days Are Gone. They were a US band, but they seemed to be more popular in the UK. This album entered the UK album charts at number 1, but it only reached number 6 on the Billboard 200 charts. It featured 2 singles in the top 40 of the Billboard Rock Songs chart and 4 singles in the top 40 of the UK charts, including Don't Save Me, Falling, The Wire, and my personal favorite, If I Could Change Your Mind. Also seeing its 5th anniversary this month is The Stripes' debut album Snapshot. It reached number 5 on the Billboard Heatseekers chart and also number 5 on the UK albums chart. It went number 2 on the Irish albums chart and featured the singles Blue Collar Jane, Hometown Girls, and What a Shame. And now it's time for the Spotlight album once again. As with most of the Spotlight albums, this is an artist that I've only had their greatest hits on CD until now. This is my first full album, studio album exposure to them. And again, it was a good one. This is the 3rd album by Blondie, Parallel Lines, celebrating its 40th birthday this month. This is a great album. When I picked it up, the clerk at the record store says it was their best album, and I certainly don't doubt it. Of course, it features the singles One Way or Another and Heart of Glass. Absolutely timeless songs there. But the good songs do not stop there, believe me. This is a great album. I did not realize how diverse their sound is. I mean, okay, you can kind of get that from their singles, but you don't really appreciate it from album to album until you listen to a full album of theirs. It had a song that almost sounds like Motown or Brill Building pop, like Sunday Girl, and then right before that, though, is a song like Will Anything Happen, which is, really shows they're straddling the line between the beginning of punk and the gestation of the new wave movement. Really good balance between those. So, and I mean, all the other songs are just excellent. Pretty Baby is a really good one. I Know But I Don't Know, which I think was the only songwriting contribution by Frank Infante. I think that's how you pronounce it, the guitarist. But yeah, Just Go Away is the closer. That's a great song. Honestly, there's not a bad song on this album. Pick it up if you haven't yet, and like I probably will, continue your exposure to Blondie from there. Yeah, fantastic album. I can't really say much else about it that you probably don't already know. It's just a great album. Hanging on the Telephone, that was another a lesser single of theirs, but still a great song. That was the opening track. But yeah, all sorts of good songs on this album. Fantastic album. Go pick it up. So yeah, that is it for Backtracks for September of 2018. I've already started preparing the notes for October. If anything, it's going to be an even bigger month. And yes, I do have to prepare notes. These are such info-intensive episodes that I can't help but prepare notes. That's why I'm looking down. You see me looking down from the camera so much. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, can't wait to do the October edition. Questions, comments, criticisms, fire away. And if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. And yeah, again, thank you so very much for watching, and remember, life's too short to be a music snob.